Deep beneath Kenya's Great Rift Valley, the earth itself is powering a revolution. In the shadow of Hell's Gate National Park, massive turbines harness the planet's inner heat, making Kenya a global leader in clean energy. Tonight on EARTHWISE, we journey from the geothermal fields of Olkaria to the upgrades in Migori, exploring how one nation is proving that Africa can power its future without fossil fuels. The Olkaria geothermal power plant sits about 100 kilometers from Nairobi inside the Hell's Gate National Park. And here, steam rises from the earth like a natural chimney. And that sound you hear, that's the sound of raw power straight from the earth, transformed into electricity for millions of Kenyans across the country. My name is Zainab Wandati, and this is EARTHWISE. Generates nearly 90% of its electricity from renewable sources, with geothermal energy leading the charge at 42% of the total energy mix. This makes Kenya the 6th largest geothermal producer in the world, and by far Africa's green energy leader. Geothermal fields are actually quite pretty to look at. You know, when you see the steam coming out of the earth, it's quite pretty to look at. But one thing about them is that they stink. And that's the truth, they stink. And they smell something like sulfur, rotted eggs, and it's not the kind of smell that your nose gets used to. You know, like how when you're near a dump site, after a couple of minutes, your nose has gotten used to it. That's what happens near a geothermal field. Your nose does not get used to it. But one thing the engineers here tell us is that if you can smell it, that's a good thing, because it means that is a healthy well. It's not producing any poisonous gases. So to understand a little bit more about what really happens at a geothermal rig, I'd like to bring on an engineer who will tell us a little bit more about Hawa and what goes on here at KenGen. This is Mercy Ronald. She is an electrical engineer here at Olkaria. Hi, Mercy.
Hi, Zainab.
Welcome to EARTHWISE.
Thank you so much. Welcome to KenGen Drilling Rig 1. And before we begin anything here, we need to be safe in this rig.
Okay.
So kindly wear your helmet. Yeah, you have to wear this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll take you around our rig.
Okay.
Yeah, so in Olkaria we have 3 drilling rigs, 2 electrical, and then we have 1 mechanical drilling rig.
Okay.
So for us to have any geothermal energy, we need to actually have the rigs drill wells. So one power station needs around 20 wells. So our rig has to keep drilling.
How do you define a well?
A well is, okay, I'll use basic terms like drilling when you want water. So that hole that we drill is a well.
But and you need 20 of those to power a power station.
Yeah, we need 20 of those. And in this situation, we are drilling from a depth of 0 to 3,000 meters down.
Oh, wow, that's far. How long does it take to drill that far?
Technically, around 60 days should be enough. But sometimes, because of drilling challenges, we take some time to get to that depth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've seen a lot of steam in the horizon.
Yeah.
Is that the steam you see, is that what then becomes electricity?
Yeah, that is what becomes electricity. But what you see in the horizon is the end result technically. After running a turbine, that is what you see when the steam is now getting cooled, and also when it is being vented to the environment.
Okay.
Yeah, when the demand is low.
Okay. Why is it so noisy though? It's quite loud around here. Why is it so noisy?
Yeah, the steam comes at a very high pressure. And in a drilling rig, you see we are running very big diesel generators. We have compressors running. That is where the noise comes from.
Oh, so it's the act of drilling.
Yeah, it's the act of drilling in itself that creates the noise, and also the pressure of the steam itself. Yeah.
Okay. So this one has been drilling for how many days? So far, how many feet have you reached?
So far, we are at 1,000 meters.
Okay.
So we've been drilling for approximately 30 days.
30 days?
Yeah.
So you rest and then continue?
We run casings in, then we continue, not rest. We run casing in, cement, then continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes geothermal better than hizi stima zingine, maji,
Yeah, geothermal is base load, because you see, there are no time we are saying there is no demand, there is no geothermal at this point. It is just a continuous supply. So I wouldn't say hydros and geothermal are along the same lines, but it's better than solar and wind, because solar can fluctuate, wind can fluctuate, but geothermal is always available.
So there's no risk of a well running dry, because right now I know you have more than 300 in this Okaria area.
Yeah, Rig M370 drills reinjection wells. So these reinjection wells also help to make sure there is a continuous supply of steam. So we have reinjection wells. So we reinject water, sometimes brine back into the well.
Oh.
Yeah, some wells. We have productions and reinjection. So the 3000 one is a production one. The 1000 ones are reinjection. Yeah.
How many wells do you think you can sink in this area? I know you're in the Hells Gates National Park.
Yeah.
So this is a park area where you have this geothermal activity happening. How many, is it possible to say that this area can carry up to 1,000 wells?
We still have capacity. It will all depend with our geology team and what they'll tell us, but we still have capacity. KenGen is actually aiming at drilling 42 more by 2035. So we still have capacity. Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you a question that might sound dumb, but you're an electrical engineer, so I know you're the best person to answer this.
Okay.
At some point you talked about megawatts. So what is a megawatt? What is a gigawatt? What is a kilowatt? How do you tell? And how much can it power? For example, if I say this facility is producing X number of megawatts, how many households will it be able to power?
Okay, so when we say 10 megawatts can power a whole town. In simple terms, that is it. And actually in Olkaria, we have a 10 megawatt well. So you can imagine how much that can go. Yeah, so a watt is just a small capacity of power. Then now in mega, it's in thousands. Then giga, it's in 10,000. Okay, 100,000 of that one. Yeah.
What's the capacity of a regular home? Like, for example, a 4-people household.
A 4-people household? Some kilowatts.
Some kilowatts?
Yeah, depending on their usage.
Okay, so in that context, with that context in mind, what is the total, is it still megawatts or gigawatts that this Olkaria facility is producing?
The amount of gigawatts, we have around 754 gigawatts, which is 43% of our produced capacity as KenGen.
Production capacity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the geothermal is 43, hydros is 47, then thermal 7, 1% from wind. So the others are adding up to that 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 2024, Kenya's geothermal capacity reached 985 megawatts from an estimated potential of 10,000 megawatts. That means the country has barely scratched the surface of its underground energy wealth. But why is Kenya so blessed with geothermal resources? The answer lies beneath our feet in one of the world's most dramatic geothermal features. The East African Rift Valley system is literally tearing our continent apart, but in the most beneficial way for energy production. The rifting brings hot magma bodies to within 6 kilometers of the surface, much shallower than most places in the world. Where other countries need to drill more than 4,000 meters for geothermal energy, some of the wells at Olkaria are productive at less than that.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand you've come at a time when work here has slowed a bit. So we are not able to see much happening with the rig.
Yeah.
But from what I understand is to power geothermal sites, you need all kinds of expertise working together.
Yeah.
And if you miss one, it's a disaster. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so you see, for operations to run, we need a drilling engineer. A drilling engineer oversees all these pipes that you're seeing, they are called drill pipes. So a drilling engineer has to oversee all that. Then we have mechanical engineers. We have a lot of mechanical components on the rig site. Those pumps there, those generators over there, those are the work of the mechanical engineer has to oversee the mechanical part. Then we have electrical engineers. Electrical engineers oversee we have a lot of electrical parts too. For us to be able to drill, we have a lot of electrical parts too. So an electrical engineer and electrical technicians have to be there. Then we have geology team actually. You have geoscientists still. So the geology team pick returns from the well whenever we are drilling. They test those returns and they tell us what we expect to have and how we are going. So we must have all these teams for us to actually have a well running.
This geological advantage has translated into economic benefits. Kenya produces some of the world's most cost-effective geothermal power that's helped stabilize the national grid and reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels.
So tell me about what happens here.
So this is Olkaria 5 power station. So after we have received steam from the different wells in the field, we then receive steam at high pressure, specifically here, and we take it through the final stage of separation. And after it has been separated, the steam now dry, completely dry, about 99.99% dry.
What do you mean dry? How do you dry steam? Isn't it already wet?
So what we mean that it's dry is in terms of the saturation. So we can have saturated steam and steam that is non-saturated. So we receive the steam, and as it travels from the wells, generally as it travels, we have the steam, it condenses. It changes form from steam to liquid. So before it goes into the steam turbine, we need to make sure that it's as dry as possible because it's a steam turbine. So we take it through there.
So dry means no water in it.
Dry means, yes, no condensate in it.
Okay.
Yes.
So all the steam that come from all the wells at geothermal are received here, all the steam.
So we have different power plants. We have Olkaria 2, Olkaria 1 additional unit, and we have Olkaria 4. We have the wellheads and Olkaria 5. Okay. So we receive steam specifically for Olkaria 5.
Okay.
Yes. So we have there, which is the main entry point to the power plant for Olkaria 5. The steam comes this way. It's taken through this final stage of separation here, those two. And once, because steam is lighter than liquid, it now goes to the top. Using these two large pipes, it goes into the turbine, rotates the turbine, and once it has done work, it loses its energy. So it's been converted from steam to now condensate. So it now turns to condensate. It usually comes at about 183.5 degrees Celsius. So
also it's really hot.
It's really hot and also high pressure at 10 bar.
Okay.
So once it has done its work, it now loses its energy or enthalpy. So it changes to condensate. It falls into what we call a condenser. So it's still pretty hot, which is usually about 45 degrees Celsius. So we need to cool it. We now evacuate it from what we call a condenser to go to the cooling tower, and that's what we have there.
Okay.
The one that shows as though it's the raindrops.
Like water.
Yes. That's where we now have the steam. It's the condensate. It falls to the basin of the cooling tower, and then it returns back to the condenser to continue cooling the new steam that is coming in.
Okay, so that's the stage it becomes electricity, or here in the turbine?
It's here at the turbine, because once the turbine rotates, it's coupled to a generator, and now that generator, through electromagnetic field, generates the electricity.
EARTHWISE now takes a short break, and when we come back, we take you west to Migori County.
Where were you in 1957? That's pre-colonial Kenya. Were you even born? I can't say much for myself because my parents weren't even born back then, but think about what life was like then. Did you ever think that there'd ever be electricity in your village? Why am I telling you about 1957? Because this bridge I'm standing on right now and everything you see around me was constructed in 1957. And the point of that was to build a small power plant on this river here that will then be able to facilitate the gold mining operations that the colonialists, the white people were running back then. And that infrastructure they put in place then is what is still currently in place, continuing to power the Gogo substation. But now KenGen is trying out an experiment to see if they can upgrade this facility to an even bigger facility to produce even more electricity and therefore power even possibly the whole of Migori County and maybe the next county over. How exactly are they going to do this? We'll tell you shortly.
Kuja River in Migori County once powered British tea dryers. The Gogo hydroelectric plant, commissioned in 1958, has for decades whizzed along at 2 megawatts. Its turbines so antique that one might think that they're listed in the Guinness Book of Extinct Machinery. But that era might just end this December. Cabinet approved a 5 billion shilling redevelopment plan in February 2024, and construction crews are now boring a 440-meter tunnel, erecting a new 33 kV substation, and installing two 4.3 megawatt turbines that will push output up. The upgrade is part of KenGen's least cost power development plan, designed to meet Kenya's 5% annual demand growth without burning a single extra drop of diesel.
That waterfall is what informed the decision of the gold miners to come up with a power plant from this head. And by then, you know, they were using diesel for gold mining.
Yeah.
So it was expensive on their end. So now, when they were actually doing exploration around this area, they realized they could take advantage of this waterfall to come up with a power plant that was a bit cheaper by then. And by design, they only needed 2 megawatts for their gold extraction activities. Yeah, so over time now, a feasibility study was actually carried out recently, and we noted that the full potential of this flow was not exhausted. So the feasibility study actually revealed that we can achieve 8.6 megawatts from this water flow. So we are going to improve our head from 19.5 to 21.2.
Have you started that upgrade?
It is at the stage of now, we are having, we call negotiation with the financier. You know, started the upgrade, they have acquired a piece of land, and we're intending that once that financial issues are actually done, then we're going to commence our upgrade in the maybe late next year or maybe early next year.
Okay. And you'll upgrade from 2 megawatts to
8.6 megawatts.
8.6.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what is it that makes a hydro plant renewable? Is a hydro hydropower generation, is it renewable?
Of course, it is renewable. It is a clean energy. You know what our source of prime mover is water. There's nowhere we are emitting
Carbon,
smoke or carbon into the atmosphere.
So you're not using
you're not using fossil fuel anywhere.
No diesel engine.
Our source of prime mover here is water, purely water. We just use it for running our turbines. We have the Kaplan turbines. Then once we generate, we actually transfer back water to the river. Yeah.
Will this be the first time an upgrade is happening since this was built in the 80s?
It is the first time, not in the 80s. 1957. You can imagine that.
Wow. Yes. That's
not
older than my
It is the first time you're going to have an upgrade. Yes.
When you say 2 megawatts,
yeah,
how much power is that? Like here we're in Migori County.
Yes.
Can it power the whole of Migori County?
Currently, it cannot power the entire Migori County, but during our upgrade, we are intending that that might actually, the 8.6 megawatts might power either 2 or 3 counties, but most definitely 2 counties. So 2 megawatts cannot power the entire Migori County based on our grid stability. The rate of consumption of customers, the rate of consumption of power from the customers actually gone high. Okay. So the 2 megawatts is not enough to power the entire Migori. Now again, the design is 2 megawatts. But due to aging of the machine, you're not producing the full 2 megawatts.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're producing less than that?
You're producing less than that. No machine has aged, and then the supply of the machine, the parts are actually obsolete. So what we do, we apply what is called reverse engineering. In a layman's language, when we overhaul our machine, we take the parts, and then now we take to our local manufacturers to fabricate the parts. So now getting this at times becomes very expensive. And you know, when you have a part for maybe your motor vehicle, you don't expect the efficiency for the motor vehicle to be the same with due time. So that also applies to our machine. The efficiency is not the same as when it was commissioned. So
how much power are you currently producing?
We are averagely, we have 2 machines. We are averagely producing 1.6 megawatts. That is 800 kilowatts each for each machine.
Okay.
Yes.
How much can that power? How far can it power?
How far or how area?
Yes, a big area. Like in terms of, if you were to put it in terms of households.
Yes.
How many households will those be?
Currently, that's 1.6 megawatts. That is around 1,600 houses.
1,600.
Yes, yes.
And that's okay. Yeah.
But now,
that's what,
the main economic activities around this place, the reason that's why now we are still having this now sustaining and going on, we have our main economic activities. The main purpose as to why the plant was actually commissioned is because of the gold mining activities.
Which is big in Migori County.
This is very big in Migori County. Apart from that, we also have the sugar industries around here. We have the Sony Sugar. We also have the fish processing plants around the lake. So, if you look at the evacuation lines that were commissioned before, there were two. One was heading to Awendo, where we're having the Sony Sugar, and the one was heading to Makalda, where we're having the gold mining processes taking place. So basically, it assists us in the gold mining activities. The distribution line that we are having currently does not allow us to give this directly to the clients. The voltage is so high, around 33 kV. So, and we supply directly to the distribution line, and our main customer is Kenya Power.
Okay.
So it's now the Kenya Power that decides out of what we supply, what they do with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Once complete, the plant will power an estimated 30,000 new households, stabilize the notoriously erratic western grid, and free up geothermal capacity to be wheeled to the coast. But there's another revenue stream that's making Kenya's clean energy transition even more profitable: carbon credits. Each kilowatt hour from Olkaria displaces roughly 700 grams of carbon dioxide equivalent that would have been emitted by diesel generators. Those avoided tons become certified carbon credits sold on the global market. The World Bank's Carbon Initiative for Development alone has purchased 3.2 million credits from Kenyan geothermal units since 2019, injecting roughly 4.3 billion into public coffers. KenGen has been issued over 4.6 million tons of carbon credits from 6 renewable energy projects, with geothermal contributing the largest share. These projects collectively offset approximately 1.5 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent annually. That's like taking over 300,000 cars off the road every year.
KenGen is the pioneer company in development of carbon projects in Kenya. We began this journey in the year 2006 when we did a partnership with the World Bank to develop our initial 3 projects out of 6 that we have been able to register. So these 3 projects, the first one that we registered was Olkaria 2 Additional Unit 3, which was a 35 megawatts project. We then followed up with Tana, which was a rehabilitation of the old Tana power station, to have an additional 20 megawatts of new Tana project. And finally, the last of the 3 projects is Kiambere, which was an optimization project. Again, we earned an additional 20 megawatts from the optimization process, which we registered as a carbon project. Thereafter, we were able to develop 3 more projects. The 2 80 megawatt projects, the Olkaria 1 Additional Unit 4 and 5, and Olkaria 4. Each of them was 140 megawatts, were registered in 2012, and the last one, which we did register, was the Ngong Win project, a 5.1 megawatt project. To date, we've been able to issue about 6.3 million certified emission reductions that are available for sale. This we are still in the process of selling. Initially, out of the earlier credits, in total we've been able to issue about 6.9, so we've been able to sell about 300,000 of our carbon credits to buyers, and this has earned us about 3.6 million US dollars. And this is additional revenue compared to our traditional revenue stream, which is sale of electricity. So for us, we consider this as additional to be able to support our business.
But Kenya's carbon ambitions extend far beyond individual projects. In 2023, Parliament approved the Carbon Credit and Benefit Sharing Bill, which has since become law, anticipating the country could earn $6.8 million annually from systematic carbon credit trading. The Energy Act of 2019 provides a comprehensive legal framework for renewable energy development. The country has moved from feed-in tariffs. New regulations in 2024 have opened transmission and distribution to private investments. The country is now sharing its expertise across the region, providing technical assistance to neighboring countries exploring their own geothermal resources, from Ethiopia to Tanzania to Uganda. Africa has 60% of the world's best solar resources, but less than 1% of global solar capacity. The continent's wind potential could satisfy current energy demand 250 times over, yet receives just 2% of global renewable energy investment. But there's growing recognition of Africa's carbon market potential. At the 2023 Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi, the United Arab Emirates committed to purchase $450 million worth of carbon credits from the Africa Carbon Markets Initiative, which aims to produce 300 million credits annually by 2030. And for Kenya, the dream is simple: 100% renewable energy by 2030. Would you like to interact with us? EARTHWISE would love to hear from you.